comes to beauty pageants, the Philippines is the undisputed winner.
Tops in Asia, but Venezuela is right up there.
You do love your beauty pageants in the Philippines, but I heard that this year's winner for Miss Universe Philippines is causing a bit of controversy.
Yes, Mariko, unfortunately, because she grew up in the United States, and there's this big question mark about Filipino authenticity in beauty pageants in the country.
There is a history of mixed race Filipinos winning these beauty pageants, though, aren't there? So we're asking, why is the Philippines so strong in beauty pageants? And why are some winners sparking these heated debates? As always, I'm Marika in Singapore, and this is Asia Pacific from the BBC World Service. Twice a week, we bring you Asia Pacific stories, unpacked by those who know them best. Or some of you may remember Rico Hizon. He was the face of the BBC in Asia for almost 2 decades. He's also
Two decades. Oh my God, makes you so old.
I know, right? He's also a huge beauty pageant fan. Welcome back to the BBC.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Mariko. That's a secret that will be revealed in your Asia Pacific podcast. Not very many people know that I used to follow beauty pageants since I was maybe 8 or 9 years old up until today.
I remember because you were watching them at work in the newsroom.
In between newscasts.
Exactly.
Especially if it's a Miss Universe, Miss International, Miss World competition.
Exactly. And this beauty pageant obsessed friend of mine has introduced me to Ariela Ara Arida. She was crowned Miss Universe Philippines in 2013, and she's now the national director of the Miss Universe Philippines organization for training and development. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Mariko, hi Rico, and of course, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I would love to know your story, Ariela, because let's start with how you got interested in beauty pageants in the first place. Do you remember how old you were? And, tell us about your journey until you were crowned.
I grew up in an environment where it's an academe world because my parents were both educators. So I was like growing up, I just watched everything on TV, the beauty pageant, modeling, but it didn't really come into my mind that I would be doing it. I guess my interest really started during my college days when this designer, who happened to be a friend of mine now from the same province as mine, approached me randomly in a coffee shop. And then he was actually who asked me if I want to join beauty pageant. After a year, this same friend of mine, the designer, approached me again if I want to join a provincial pageant. That's how it started.
So he clearly wanted you to run. And
Yeah.
I guess the different levels of beauty pageants is what makes the country so strong. Rico, you were saying earlier how, you were watching various beauty pageants
Yes.
in between newscasts. Is everyone in the Philippines as obsessed as you with
Oh.
beauty pageants?
Yeah, it's like a cultural fascination for beauty pageants. I mean, it's not only on the national level, as mentioned by Ariela, but even in universities. There's Miss University, this, that. Even oil companies have their own beauty pageants. Travel agencies like Baron Travel, Miss Shell. It really is. It really is very, very popular. But what really got me into watching beauty pageants was when Margie Moran won Miss Universe in the mid 70s. She was the second Miss Universe from the Philippines to win the
first one
competition.
was
Gloria Diaz in
1969.
1969. So we've already had 4 Miss Universe. The next one after Margie Moran was Pia Wurtzbach in 2015, and then Catriona Gray in 2018. So, I mean, there's really a lot of support for Filipinos who join international competitions. And there are basically 4 global competitions that Filipinos really watch very closely. One, of course, is Miss Universe, where Ariela participated. Then you also have Miss International. We've also had winners there. And Miss World and Miss Earth.
But what I want to know is how is the Philippines this kind of powerhouse, especially in Asia? I mean, you said that it's in the top 3, top 4 in the world as well. Why do you think that is, Ariella? Because you've gone through the training, all sorts of things that I can't even imagine what you had to do before you actually won. So, can you tell us why you think the Philippines is so strong in this?
My mentors. I'm actually proud to say this because he's now the owner of the Miss Universe Philippines, right? His name is Jonas Gaco. So he's one of my mentors.
Mm.
And they really started as a pageant supporter, like a pageant fan that they started during their college days. And it comes to a point they would really approach girls and would start to train them like for free out of their pocket, even they're just students, they're really so passionate about it.
What kind
Yeah.
of training do you get though? Because you said that they approach those potential beauty pageant runner-ups and then they get training, but what do you train to win?
You know what, Marco? Maybe I would be lucky because during my time, the training doesn't really need that much finance support compared to now, as I would say.
Mm.
So I don't even know how to wear makeup. So I have to train I really have to analyze my face, like my eyes, what kind of makeup would suit my eyes, my eyebrows, the kind of hair that would really fit me, especially on stage look. And of course, the Q&A, which is also a very important aspect of the pageantry nowadays.
Right now, even international vets come to the Philippines to train.
Wow.
Yes, and be
Yeah.
mentored by
So what's
Filipino
the secret?
trainers.
What is the secret that they're training in the Philippines that any other countries are not
Yeah,
doing?
well, because you know what? In terms of numbers, we among all the top four beauty competitions, we are number three in the world. In Asia, we are number one. The Philippines is number one. I mean, undisputed.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of love and passion for beauty pageants, but I learned this year there's a bit of a controversy, if I can call it that, in the winner of Miss Universe Philippines. Can you tell us about it, Rico?
Well, Bea Milan Wendorsky is half Filipina. The mother is Filipino, and the father is an American.
Oh,
So, is that correct?
sorry, I think he's a Polish
A
German.
Polish German. Okay. So that's where the controversy is right now. Everybody wants a pure Filipina candidate to win. And there were also quite a number of pure Filipina candidates in the Miss Universe Philippines. But when all is said and done, it really boils down to what the judges think of the candidate. When you join the beauty pageant, it's not only the board of judges, but it's also social media. I mean, people now can vote for their favorite candidate.
Bear herself has kind of responded to these criticism, hasn't she? Saying that she's been criticized to be an opportunist and performative, but that she's been a Filipino since she was born, and that she has a home in the Philippines where she used to visit every 2 to 3 years. So, in her words, she was lucky to grow up in two countries. There have been quite a lot of mixed race candidates and
And who
also
have won.
who have won,
Yes,
right?
quite a number.
And with Bear, am I right to understand that it's partly also because she spent most of her life in the United States and she represented the US at a Miss Earth pageant? So some of the criticism seems to be that she's almost kind of taking advantage of her Filipino root in order to win this time.
Well, there will always be criticism in social media that we don't have a pure Filipino candidate representing the country in the Miss Universe beauty pageant. So, when all is said and done, it's about beauty and brains. And that is really a key component in winning a major competition.
Do you think, though? I mean, I was reading about how Filipinos spend a lot of money on like white skin whitening products, more so than in other parts of Asia, which obviously is an obsession elsewhere as well. But I was reading, some historians, psychologists, sociologists saying that it's partly because of 300 years of Spanish rules that people might think that being white or being mixed.
It's because, Mariko, we have this colonial mentality in the Philippines. We love anything that is Western, especially in America or even in Europe, in the UK, in Spain. And we have this fixation that because we're brown, we want to look white. That's why you have these whitening creams that are very popular among Filipinos because we were under the Spaniards for 330 years. So you have also mixed races. You have Filipino, Spanish looking, which they call mestizos or mestizas, which are half Spanish and half Filipino.
That's what I love about pageantry because you know we have a very diverse representative of Miss Universe Philippines. We have Oriental looking, we have Mestiza looking. Actually, the recent one is Chelsea. We have brown skin representative as well. So this opens a lot of opportunities to all the girls that they can soon represent the Philippines no matter what color they are or like how they look. And I guess this encourages as well the people from the provinces, even the small town, to really, you know, try joining the national pageant. Like what I've told you when I've started, I'm really not into this kind of industry to the point that, you know what, when I asked my parents if I can join the national pageant, you know what she told me? It's just all politics. Something like that. She really told me that. Like for her, I wouldn't have my chance into it because she thought it's all politics. But then I was
Politics
like,
as in like being rigged. What?
yeah, my
Okay.
mom thought it was being rigged, or like, you know, especially coming from a small town, like you're not even exposed into the city or something like this. People might think it's all rigged or it's all already pre-decided or something like that. And then I told my mom, no, you know, just give me this one last chance because during my time there's an age limit, and that was my last chance to join.
What's the age limit for these pageantry?
You know, during my time, it was 25. And then through
Has
the
that changed now?
years,
Yep.
yeah, through
They've
the
opened
years,
it
they
up.
extended it. Like after 2 years, it became 28. But now, you know, during the new organization, new owners, they actually removed the age limit. So I guess, you know, coming from the journey and experience, and that's what I'm telling to all the ladies now, especially the aspiring ones coming from the small towns in the provinces, that you know what, no matter where you're from or what skin you are in or whatever status you are in, if you chase your dream, you know, especially in Miss Universe Philippines or in pageant, it can really be possible. And I guess that's one of the fascination as well, how the pageantry in the Philippines got so big and got so crazy, even in the smallest towns in the country.
Ariella just talked about how her mother thought that the voting could be rigged. There was a controversy, wasn't there, last year?
Well, you know what? In the Philippines, there's always that notion that competitions can be rigged.
I'm thinking about the guy in Thailand. Wasn't there like Miss Universe boss in?
The Thai. I think the Thai pageant
The recent
boss.
one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically scolded, right? One of the international competitors, but the girl that he scolded won Miss Universe.
Eventually won.
Yeah, eventually won Miss Universe. Miss Universe has been quite controversial, Mariko, over
Yeah.
the past
Well,
few years.
yeah, for the
Especially, it's been
past
handed
years.
down to different owners. As you know, U.S. President Donald Trump used to own the Miss Universe international franchise.
I mean, that was going to be my question because, I mean, in recent decades, I think, you know, some feminist activists would have said, you know, you guys have been talking about how beauty pageants is about brain and beauty, but those critics say that this is, you know, objectifying women, focusing on unrealistic beauty standards, and they're sexist and so on. Are there criticisms like that in the Philippines or not really?
Not really. Not really. I mean, there are just so many competitions right now in the Philippines, and usually all that criticism usually is drowned out, being sexist, objectifying. Um, so it's not really an issue uh, in the Philippines at the moment. What do you think, Ariella?
Yeah, I would agree. And I guess because our queens are being supported, being
Mm,
cheered on, especially representing the international stage and winning the crown, they become like eventually like a hero
mm.
back home. And even the Senate or Congress would pass an appreciation for all the queens who really made it successful abroad. So I guess those kind of criticism were all being eradicated because we're taking it on a more positive way. Also, with the experiences from the past winners, it really opens, like, even on my experience,
Mm.
it really opens a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't think of in the first place. Like, my parents would just be surprised, and my dad, I remember, he would told me, like, oh, maybe if you follow us, you wouldn't be where you at now. Financially wise, I'm earning more with what I'm doing now, more than if I continue what I finished with my studies. Well, it's just so funny, right? But I guess those kind of positivity right after the pageantry, that it opens a lot of doors really for you in different aspect of, or in different industry, is what
Mm.
the girls are aiming for now too. Sometimes, the girls, I would ask them if, like, what's really their goal, why do they keep on joining pageants. By just being a candidate would already make them feel like a better version of themselves, not even winning, huh? And then for them, it's really a bonus to be a semifinalist or even a finalist. And for them, it's really a dream for them. It's really a stepping stone for them to achieve bigger dreams.
And they usually, if you're just like a third runner up or a fourth runner up and you don't win, let's say the major competition, they join other competitions. If they lose, let's say in Miss Universe,
Yeah.
they would join Miss International or Miss World or Miss Earth.
So it's like a ticket to the, I guess, the stardom and
I know,
celebrity life.
but Filipinas, they never give up. If they lose,
I would say
they
yes.
will try again. Very resilient. They know that they have a shot.
But it's not an easy journey,
Mm.
as I would, especially now, because we have the biggest supporters, but at the same time, it's not all the positivity that you would hear around
Mm.
this, right?
Mm.
Because also there's also criticism at the
Bashing, as they
back
call
of
it.
it. So you
Bashing, social
really
media bashing.
have to be mentally and emotionally prepared on it, because it's not really all about all the positive things that you would hear, because it would take a toll on your mental health too, as I would say. So you really, it's a both worlds, but at the end of the day, girls really love to be in here, and they really work hard for this, so they're ready for it, actually.
Yeah, so we'll see. I guess the Philippines will remain Asia's powerhouse in this.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for
Thank you,
coming
Rico.
back, Rico. And thank you so much for coming on the pod, Ariella.
Thank you too.
You've been watching Asia Pacific from the BBC World Service with me, Mariko Oi, in Singapore. If you have any questions or thoughts on what we covered in this episode or any other stories from the region, please leave us a comment below. You can also get in touch with us on email, asiapacific@bbc.co.uk. And you know the drill, click like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. See you next time!
Bye.